beginning of day 3. We've been hiking, I'd say roughly an hour. Today might be an easier hike for us. I think it's like 14 miles to Reds Meadow-ish. I mean, that's a guesstimate. But we might do half of that today, half of that tomorrow. And it's looking like this hike might go a little bit shorter. I think Julie's had elevation sickness. First day was really tough, which kind of, it's been a tough experience so far. But this place is beautiful. I'm definitely enjoying every second of it as we're out here. So we'll see how far we make it today. We might even do a much shorter day. We'll see how we're feeling. So we're getting ready to stop and refill water, maybe have an extended break, eat breakfast, that kind of stuff. I'll show you this waterfall. This is gushing water up here. It's very pretty, very beautiful. We had kind of a long stretch without water. I was starting to get worried a little bit, but take a picture of this waterfall. One of the best ones we've seen so far, really. Like up close, I mean, the water's just gushing. So we had, up until today, really hadn't had a stretch of more than, I'm gonna say a mile and a half without running in the water. Today was kind of a long stretch without it, but I mean, this is a really, looks like a great water source. So hopefully we can find some shade, chill out for a little while, eat some breakfast, refill our water bottles, get some electrolytes, and just enjoy the day. Yeah, this is beautiful. This is by far the best stream that we've probably seen so far. It's just gushing water, which is great because I need to refill my water bottles. I'm down to, I don't know, less than half a liter, I would say, for sure. So looking forward to filling up the water bottles and having a breakfast. I'm peeling off the trail to get water. I mean, this wasn't showing on the Far Out app as a water source, but it's right here, it's right off the trail. I need water. I'm not walking another 3 or 4 miles to get water. Looks like Julie's checking her phone, but yeah, I'm gonna stop here and get water before we walk any further. All right, so we're finishing up our break at Shadow Lake. Julie and I were just talking. I think one of two things are going to happen. I mean, we're probably a day and a half out from reaching Reds Meadow. At Reds Meadow, we could bail out, we could take off, we could be in a hotel room tomorrow night. The other alternative is that we could hike to Bishop Pass and exit there. We have 13 days after today. Right now we would have 90 more miles to reach that. Then we'd also have a hike down, but it's basically like 7 miles a day, even if you exclude the rest of today. So that sounds very manageable. I mean, if we were to do 8 or 9 miles a day, hopefully be a little ahead of the curve. But then that also takes a lot of pressure off. We're able to stop and have nice breaks, enjoy the time out here, not feel rushed, not feel like it's all suffering. So we'll figure this out here in the next day or so. I forgot to mention, or maybe forgot to mention, that Julie and I both got sunburned yesterday. So we're both hiking in pants today. We're pretty much fully covered. The sun's pretty intense. Julie says her legs are on fire. I wouldn't call mine on fire, but I could definitely tell that they were burnt when I laid down last night. So today we're pretty much in full coverage. So we're creeping our way up this mountainside. I think it's supposed to be like a 700-foot climb. There's really nothing at home that prepares you for this. I mean, it's definitely a difference. We're approaching a lake. I'm not exactly sure which lake this is. The Far Out app said that we were like 2 miles from a water source, but here we are at a lake. It's almost 11:30. Taking a break. I don't know, maybe we even eat lunch while we're here hanging out. We're taking an extended break. So I'm gonna open up the bear canister and pull out, got tortillas and cheese. I think is what I'm having for lunch. Maybe like a meat stick or something like that also, but it does feel good to sit down for a little while, just to relax. Julie said that if she had a long pad, she would lay out right now on this dirt and just relax. And she's talking about going over and leaning against this rock. So we'll see what happens. So we are packing up from our rest stop now. I had lunch. Julie just kind of rested against the rock. I think the plan is we're going to hike another 2.7 miles in total, thereabouts. It's supposed to be a better water source. I mean, right next to this lake. I actually like getting it from the streams if we can. So about a mile out, there's supposed to be a stream. Anywhere after that, we can go ahead and set up a tent and just kind of chill out for the rest of the day. Tomorrow, it'll be about a 6-mile hike to get to Reds Meadow. And the plan is right now, we're probably going to bail at Reds Meadow, go get a hotel room, figure out our flight situation, all that kind of stuff. We just stopped and refilled with water, filtered our water. I'd have to say this is probably my least favorite water source so far. It's kind of a really slow moving stream. But Julie and I were about out of water, which is a no-go, so I had to go ahead and get some water. So we are plugging along. Some kind of lake to our left. I have no idea which lake, but there is a lake. Pretty much most of what we have now for hiking is downhill, with the exception of a little bit of uphill for Red's Meadow, which is where we'll depart. That's where we'll catch a shuttle. Every once in a while you end up in a shaded area that has like a cold mountain breeze. It feels like air conditioning. After being out in the hot sun, it feels amazing. And we're kind of in one of those spots now. So right now we're a little under 4 miles from Devil's Postpile National Monument. It's a place that has a shuttle. So we'll see if we're able to get this out. We may be hopping off the trail. Man, it got super hot as soon as I said that. Like this part of the trail is like blazing sun. But anyway, gonna see if we can gut it out. If not, wherever Julie wants to stop, we'll stop and camp for the night. Then we'll have a short hike in the morning. I've been very impressed with Julie. She's had altitude sickness for 3 days and she's pushed through it. And I know that's it's been miserable, but I think before this is over, we'll still have quite a few miles in. I've seen a bunch of good scenery and had a little bit of a JMT experience. So we just filtered water for the last time. We have a water crossing. I'll show you this. Hopefully I can get video of Julie going across this thing. So this might be our final water crossing. Looked like it might be a little bit better to the right from what I could tell. Looks like it's set up for the rocks. I figured out when I was filtering. Yeah, it looks like they have a little rock bridge set up for us to get across. And mostly, or hopefully, keep our feet wet, dry. On the video, Julie going across, and I'm putting this in my pocket because I'm not going to try to video and navigate this stream. It is hot as the son of a gun out here too. I wish there was a way to let everyone know how hot it is, like if you could feel this. So we had completely ran out of water before we filtered, so this was it's a pretty good stop. Whoa, all right, a couple wet feet, but she's about to cross. See if I can do any better, see if I can make it across with dry feet. All right, so we both made it across the water. Now we're on our way to Devil's Post Pile National Monument. Yeah, so it's funny. So pretty much everybody that passes Julie comments on her gaiters. So she has the, and the gaiters are what keeps the dirt and stuff from going into your shoes. But she has foxes on them. People always compliment her. So we just passed a couple of people doing the JMT northbound that said that there's actually a PCT hiker out here that has the same gaiters and goes by the trail name of Fox. Closing in on Devil's Post Pile or Red's Meadow, but I have to say this has been one of the prettier sections of the hike. You know, we just popped out all of a sudden in this valley. It's very, very pretty. We're now entering Devil's Post Pile National Monument. It says boundary of Inyo National Forest and Devil's Post Pile National Monument. So I think we're getting somewhat close. We just exited the path or the trail for JMT South. We're heading towards Devil's Post Pile. And that's supposed to be where we can catch a shuttle to take us into Mammoth Lakes.